Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host, Clinton Reed. And today, I want to share with you the lovely things that I read for the Queer Lit Readathon. And first I'm also going to say, ignoring the outside noise that you hear, dogs going crazy, there's people in the living room, don't ask. It's one of those weeks. But I wanted to get on here and share how many books did I read? 9 things. I think the last time I mentioned this I read 8, but last night I got one more thing from Hoopla because they had it, and I just had to check that out. Thank you, Julie, for the recommendation. But, again, filming setup is still a little weird. Ignore the lighting. Bring the light a little bit closer. That's a little bit better, but whatever. I just wish I could cover it where I don't have to see it. But, don't know if y'all can see or how well you can see the I wonder if I turn off the brightness, can you? I don't know how well y'all can see this. This is the bingo board for Queer Lit Readathon. I finished almost every category but 3. And I will go over the categories, and then I will tell you what each of the things was that represented them, yada yada. I did an indigenous main character. I saw myself, which majority of what I read was gay male characters. I read a new author to me. I had a short story in here that involved an ace representation, a trans representation, had a 5-star prediction. My free space I used for an LGBT author that I've read before and loved, because it was one that I had on my shelf that I really wanted to get to, and I didn't quite know if it would be considered queer lit. And now that I know what it's about, there are queer elements to it, and discovering if something out when I get to that book, I'll explain. I read some graphic novels. In the short stories, I had a disabled character. POC is person of color. I'm going to take that as 2 different ones. I have African American and I have Hispanic. In the graphic novels and the short story collection, I had historical fiction, had a lot of own voices, and something that's not usually my genre, which are short story collections. The only 3 I didn't do is the translated novel, middle grade, and the group read of Girls of Paper and Fire. I didn't get to that, but I have a thing I'm using this for next year with diverse fantasies, so look out on that. And before I get into what I read, the only one on my TBR for this readathon that I didn't quite get to, which I may still get to this month, unsure because I got a lot of other things I need to read, but I do plan on getting to it sometime soon, and that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It's the only one that I didn't quite get to, and I had found I also started Ladies' Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, and it just, I got like 150 pages in, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I do plan on picking this back up because Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue was an amazing book, and I do want to carry on because I liked Felicity as a character. And I had found 2 others on my shelf that were LGBT that I haven't read. that I didn't get to either, but eventually I will get to Timekeeper by Tara Sim and History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. That and They Both Die at the End are the only two Adam Silveras I have not read. But let's go over the stats that I read. I read 9 books. I read 3 physical books, 1 e-book, 1 e-graphic novel, and 4 other graphic novels. So, I had 5 5-stars, 3 4-stars, and 1 3-star. Let me turn to the page so when I get to the short story collection I can talk about them. Okay, I'm just going to go in order of the books that I read, what I rated, and a little few key thoughts or something on them. The first one I finished the first day of the readathon was What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I don't know if you can see it with that glare, but that's how I'm gonna have to do it. But I rated this a 5-star rating. This was the perfect rom-com LGBT friends vibe that I needed at the time. That's all I'm really gonna say. It's about Arthur and Ben, and Arthur meets Ben as Ben is going to the post office to mail off his ex-boyfriend's stuff. So it was like a bunch of cute little meet cutes, and it had a realistic ending, and I really enjoyed that. So that was book 1. In that book I saw myself in it. It was a 5-star prediction, POC author, and own voices. The next one I got to, let me get to the picture. So I screenshotted it. The next book I read was an e-arc that I had gotten like a long time ago and never got to. But it was Fire Song by Adam Garnett Jones, which has the indigenous representation, own voices, two-spirited. Excuse me. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was amazing. I will preface this with saying, oh, my phone's upside down, my bad. I will preface this by saying there are trigger warnings for suicide, rape, sadness, depression, homophobia. There's a lot that goes into this. I thought going into this blind was a good idea. I wish someone would have told me that it opened up with a funeral about his 16-year-old sister who's Native American. My sister was Native American, and she was 16 when she passed away. And the suicidal things, I wish I would have known about those before going in. But other than that, great book. It had a few spots that I felt that needed to be written a little bit better. But this book made me cry. I now want to see the movie, because I do believe it was a movie first, and then the author wrote a book so that people could get a little bit more into the mindset. And definitely, oh my god. 4 stars. That's all I can say about it. Next, I read 4 graphic novels, because in between that I was reading my short story collection. And I would have read more, but I'm also currently buddy reading Emma by Jane Austen with Charlie from Charlie Brooks. Yeah. So I needed to read my pages every night. But I cannot wait till volume 5, if there will be a volume 5. I need a volume 5, because I read all 4 volumes of Goldie Vance. Goldie Vance by Hope Larson, Brittany Williams, and Sarah Stern. This is volume 1. 5 stars. Volume 2, which is Hope Larson, Brittany Williams, and Sarah Stern, 5 stars. Volume 2 or 3, Hope Larson, Jackie Ball, Noah Hayes, and Sarah Stern, 5 stars. And the 4th volume, Hope Larson, Jackie Ball, Ellie Power, and Sarah Stern, 5 stars. I got these all from the library. Did not know that the library up here had them. Oh my god, can we say LGBT representation, person of color, mystery, basically on the cover, move over Nancy Drew and Veronica Mars. There's a new detective here to stay who is half white, half black, and ends up dating the Asian chick, and her best friend is a black girl who wants to be an astronaut. The first one, there was a missing necklace case, and it brought in Russian, what are they called? Not Nazis, but the other word. Well, they dealt with the Russians, like, throughout this whole thing, and it kind of, like, it's hard to explain. But it's set in the time period that Russia sent over KGB agents. So, if you're looking for a really queer graphic novel series, I definitely recommend the Goldie Vance series. It is so good. Next, I finished the short story collection because I ended up there was some in here that kind of bored me to pieces, and I was just like, I wanted this over with. But there were some in here that just became perfection. Like, I had one 5-star, there was like 3 short story collections or short stories in this that are standouts. Oh, let me tell you what the short story collection is All Out, the No Longer Secret Stories of Queer Teens Throughout the Ages, edited by Sandra Mitchell. This had short stories by Anna Marie McLemore, Natalie C. Parker, Nyla McGrudger, Mackenzie Lee, Robin Talley, Melinda Lowe, Dahlia Adler, Kate Galissa. Oh, no, I didn't pronounce your last name right. Sorry. Elliot Wake, Scott Tracy, Tess Sharp, Alex Sanchez, Cody Keplinger, Sarah Farzan, Tessa Grattan, Sean David Hutcherson, and Taylor K. Magi. Sorry if I butchered your name. But this had a lot of representations. This is where I got my majority of the categories. If I can get this to back up, I can pull that up. This had a story that had an ace representation. There was a lot of historical fiction in this. There's people of color. There's a disabled character. There was a trans character. And this is not usually my genre. I don't really usually read short story collections by different authors. And I've got Slasher Girls and Monster Boys. And I want to say I have one more somewhere by different authors. And then my Stephen King's that I want to get to next year, because I absolutely love this. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars on average. I think it came up as a 3.2, and I just rounded to a 3. I do have 3 stories in here that stand out above anything else, and those would be my favorite is Every Shade of Red by Elliot Wake, which had it was a Robin Hood retelling with a disabled character. To me, the character being deaf, I saw as a disabled. It's a way that it wasn't used as a disabled, or disability, I should say, but it was used in a way that promoted the story and made his character such an interesting character. 5 out of 5 stars for that one. I need more from that story because the way that ended was just like, what? You're a what? Thought you were a guy. You're a girl? What? Whoa, 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 what? You're Maid Marian? What? The Secret Life of an American Teenager. Oh, yeah, I totally said that wrong. The Secret Life of a Teenage Boy by Alex Sanchez, who's one of my favorite authors. I did not know he had a short story in this. Gave that 4 out of 5 stars. Wasn't it the 70s? I'm right here. Just 1969. Flower Power, all that stuff. It was amazing. And then my other favorite one was Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. And I really want to check out more of her stuff. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars because Little Red Riding Hood, Mexican representation, transgender representation, French representation, love represented. It was just all together perfect. I had a few issues with some of the side, like, I felt like it abruptly ended and I just needed more. Or it would have got a 5-star. So yeah. Next, I read Bait by Alex Sanchez. One of the few Alex Sanchez's I haven't read. I also still need to read Getting It, The Good Box, and Hard to Say. But I'm hoping next year to find those and read them all so I can do an author talk. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It dealt with some really heavy topics that I did not see coming. This is about a boy named Diego who is getting in trouble with the law for acting out with his anger and hitting people. Anytime someone calls him gay or stuff like that, it's just... he punches, he freaks out because of some of the things that happened to him. Such a short book. It's a book that y'all need to check out. It's only 239 pages, but it was so good. It had representation for, I will state, there is suicidal attempts, triggers, cutting triggers, rape, pedophilia. In a sense, you can tell earlier on in this, so it's not technically a spoiler. It doesn't say it on the back, but early on in this, you can decipher, depending on what you've read before, you can decipher that he was raped by his stepdad when he was really, really young, and how that affects him. And this, I was bawling my eyes out at the end. So if you want a really good short book that will affect you in ways you wouldn't believe, check out Bait by Alex Sanchez. So good. And then the last one I read was Fence Volume 1 by C.S. Pacat and Joanna the Mad. And that's turn it back down so y'all can see it. Fence. I checked out Fence because Julie at Pages and Pens read it and she absolutely loved it, and I finally got Hoopla and she said she got it off of Hoopla, and I was like, gotta check this out. So it's about a boy who wants to be a fencer and goes to the school to got a scholarship and wants to be the best fencer there is. There's so much gay representation in this. LGBT is done perfectly well. If you want a really good LGBT one involving a very unique sport, which is also not a genre I usually read. I don't really read books that involve sports, but I highly recommend. So, those are the 9 things that I read during the Queer Lit Readathon. If you took place during Queer Lit, comment down below and let me know what you've read. If you've read any of these, give me your thoughts. If you have any queer lit recommendations for me, go ahead and send them my way. Always up for new queer recommendations. Why do I keep wanting to say queer rec? Whatever. I'm sorry if this video seemed a little all over the place, but it's life, it's me. I'm a little all over the place these days. But yeah, I will talk with you guys later. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button if you so choose. Hit that like if you like this video for more content. And I guess I will talk to you guys later. Remember, kids, reading is what's fundamental. Until next time, bye.